Hey, what's up guys, Josh's Bush here and welcome back to another One Piece video. If you have been following the channel, you know we are doing basically a dive into all of the OP10 leaders that just got released. And this week we are hitting Caesar. We already did Red, Green, Smoker and Yellow Kid. I will post up like the link to the video somewhere up there. And today we are probably doing my favorites out of the entire bunch, which is Caesar Clown. Not because it's extremely good, but just because it is extremely fun. And if you do enjoy playing off-meta decks like I do, then you know how good it feels to beat meta decks with off-meta decks. You will see Caesar Clown is by no means like a powerhouse or a tier 1 deck, not even a tier 2 deck probably, but you can definitely steal wins with it because people just don't know what the deck does and what to expect really, and the leader ability really isn't that bad. Let's just go over it real quick. So it says, done ×2, when attacking you may return one of your punk hazard type characters with a cost of 2 or more to the owner's hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 4000 power or less. So yeah, we're just going to be able to KO our opponent's characters while also applying pressure with 7k or above swings. There are some really cool synergies with the deck, but let's just, I'm just going to be showing you the deck list first and then show some gameplay video against some meta decks. So you can really get a feel for what the leader does and how the deck works. But going to the deck list first, we're playing 12 2k because we are a 4 life leader and we really don't have that much defensive tools. So we're playing 4 Otama. The synergy here should be obvious. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power. It just means that we'll be able to KO a 6000 power character with our leader, or sometimes even a 7000 power character. Actually, most of the time 7000 power character, because as you're going to be seeing, Monet is like the key card of the deck. If you do not draw this card, the deck doesn't function. And this character gives minus 1000, so yeah. In combination with Otama, that's going to be able to KO a 7000 character. Then the full playstyle of Rayleigh as like our only boss monster. I mean, again, the synergy with the deck is just obvious here. And if you like, on your 10 Don turn, you can use 2 to play out Monet. And then play out Rayleigh and like potentially even get rid of 2 characters with Rayleigh and the leader, which is very nice. Then for Virgo, just a punk hazard searcher. Again, we really need Monet, so we have to play this searcher 4 times. Then in this current iteration of the build, we are playing Caesar Soldier. Basically, this card reads: play up to one of your punk hazard type characters with a cost of 2 or less from your hand, so we're going to be able to play Monet with this. However, this is going to stick to the field since we have to bounce one of our characters, and that means we can, when this is on the field, apply a little bit more pressure than we could if we just play out the Monet on the following turns, which is nice. Then we have Smiley. On play, give minus 3000. You can potentially play this in combination with the Caesar Clown card, which is like basically like a Ohm Holly combo. You can potentially play more Smiley because there is a blue Smiley card, but it isn't that good. And I really found in testing this card really just stuck to my hand all the time, because if you do not have the Smiley in hand already, it's very scary to try to go for this play into the Smiley. Even though I do have to admit, if you have this and you hit the Smiley and you can do like the entire combo, it's very powerful, but it's just a little bit inconsistent for my taste. Then we have this Tony Chopper 2k, which is also a blocker. We're all familiar with this card. Punk hazard type, so Virgo adds it. Very strong card. This is just a 2-cost blocker, but again, it synergizes with our leader ability very well. Then we have Mokka, another 2k. On play, give something minus 1000. Again, if you do not have the Monet, this is like the sort of second option, I suppose, which is a lot less good. But sometimes you can combo it with like Monet and stuff if you need that extra 1000 reduction. Then we're playing for Monet again. Honestly, this is probably the reason why this deck isn't... I mean, it probably wouldn't be viable if you could play like 8 of this, but you need this card for the deck to function, as you're going to be seeing. Literally every turn revolves around playing down this card and using the ability. So if you don't see this, then you're basically just losing the game. Yeah, this is just the heart of the deck, basically. Then we're playing Pudding. We are swinging like 7 and above early game very often, which, you know, it does force our opponent to take the early hits pretty often, and then you can punish them by playing this Pudding. We're all familiar with this card. Then I'm playing Jozu. In Essential, and we are playing a removal deck, and Jozu is really, really good at that. And sadly, it only synergizes with the Virgo, but sometimes it can randomly, like, you can do stuff with the Caesar Soldier or with Monet, or like if you earlier played out like a dragon when you know you will play Jozu later, so that's nice. This round table gives minus 10,000, which means that with our leader ability in combination with this, we'll be able to out literally every character in the game, which is, I mean, obviously strong. Then Gum UFO gives minus 4,000, and then if you have 2 or less life, also another 1,000 to a character or a leader, like boost your character or leader. So I was playing like split between this and Gum Morgan before, because obviously the synergy with both those cards is there, but I just think this one is a little bit better because it's searchable by Virgo, and very often if you do the Morgan, you will not be able to do the Seizure Clown effect as well, so... But Morgan is definitely a viable option playing the deck as well. And then lastly, I'm playing the Red Rock here. Yeah, I think it goes without saying, right? It's just, it's a little bit like Round Table, but more actually, it's not even more expensive. It's just as expensive as Round Table, but like, Round Table needs a little bit more setup. And the trigger for this is better, of course, because Round Table has no trigger. So, yeah, that is the deck list. I understand it might seem a little bit odd, but... We're going to be showing the gameplay right, and then you can see how the deck functions and how super fun it can be. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, we're going to be starting with this Smoker game here, Red-Green Smoker. We did the mulligan there, as you saw, and then we end up with this hand, which probably seems a little odd, but honestly, we have like Monet and double UFO, and also the Caesar Soldier, so we will really be able to... do our combos here, and then hopefully later on in the game we're just gonna be drawing like some bigger monsters, right? But as you can see, we go Caesar's Soldiers into Monet here, and this is like the bread butter combo of the deck. Give 2 down to Caesar, swing, bounce back to Monet, and then KO a character. And then it's really nice we open the Caesar Soldiers here, because it means that we'll be able to apply a little bit more pressure. And what's also good like about this matchup is that very often this Smoker deck, it kind of relies on playing the Kid, right? And Caesar is actually very strong into Kid, because we're playing so many reduction cards. He keeps open 2 Dawn here. I'm not sure why. And actually plays out his own Monet, which I think is probably not the best play you can do, because we're just going to be able to get rid of it. Like this, swing 7 into leader, and then after this we will be able to go for a 6 swing with Caesar Soldier as well. Or if we want, we can also play out the Monet already, but I don't really think that's... I mean, you could, because generally Red-Green Smoker doesn't really play removal aside from Morgan, and they probably wouldn't... They can't really use that next turn, I think. I mean, I guess they could if they have like the 5-cost Smoker. And again, we really do not want to lose the Monet here. Like, it's everything the deck revolves around. So we're just going to be swinging 6 into Smoker there. And we established double Caesar Soldier. You will probably see in like the following games that there is also a lot of times where we do not establish Feud at all, which is not ideal, of course. So he establishes the Smoker, and we already know he has the Tashigi, which he will be able to play down to protect the Smoker from our leader ability. And yeah, he does that, and then he goes swing 6 into our leader, and we counter that because we don't want to get out aggroed in the late game against this deck. We actually draw Smiley here, which is very strong going into our 7 Dawn turn, but because of the Tashigi we will not be able to get rid of the Smoker. However, we will be able to get rid of the Tashigi. And that's step 1, right? And there we go, swing 6 with our Caesar Soldier. And then he probably has to counter this, because if not... Oh, he actually doesn't. It's interesting. So we could swing 7 here and burn some cards from his hand, or we could play down the Monet and then next turn go for like a Rayleigh into Monet Caesar, which is very powerful, but we opt to go for the 7k swing here to eat some of those counters from his hand. And then probably next turn we just go like Smiley Monet or Rayleigh, or like some combination with the events we have in hand. Like there's a lot of possibilities here. He plays down the Beckman. Then he probably has to have a blocker here, right? Because if he, I mean, even if he does, we can just swing for game, very likely. So yeah, let's see. He plays down Tashigi. I mean, that's just probably game, right? Because like, okay, sure, you can kick over the soldier and then swing into us with this, but we can just go swing 14, which very likely is game. And then this is free essentially anyway, right? So we just do this anyway, and then we just go for this huge swing. And he has to have like all 2Ks to be able to counter out of this, which I mean is unlikely but not impossible. But we already see that he doesn't have it. So yeah, that's gonna be our first game against Red Green Smoker. Really quick one, but that's just sometimes how this deck rolls. Let's go into the next one. Alright, going into the next game here, which will be versus Green Bonney. Which, this matchup is pretty 50-50, I want to say. Which I think is not, like, a bad stat for Caesar Clown by any means. It's just, Bonney tends to struggle with decks that easily remove their characters, right? And Caesar definitely does that. As you can see, our hand here is very strong. We immediately have access to Monet. We have like a lot of removal cards, which will also allow us to deal with their bigger cards. A very solid hand. He opens Bonney here. Draws Cavendish. You'll probably just swing. Probably just swing 7, right? Which, well, he actually swings 5, which we take. Don't want to burn any of those cards. He plays out the Killer. Actually miss with the Virgo, which is unlucky. And we just go for the control game here, right? And then next turn we will be able to, if they play the Cavendish, we will be able to go Jozu, bounce Virgo to hand, bounce Cavendish to hand, which is very nice. And he goes swing 7, which is fair here, I think. And just go swing 5. It is a little bit scary now because we're already quite low at life. But we do have a lot of cards in hand, including a lot of 2K counters. And we established this Jozu here, which is nice. Yeah, discarding Virgo there is correct, I think, because there's really nothing we are looking for anymore. We already have everything. And now he does establish the Tashigi, which is a little bit annoying. So we swing with this. And then we probably just go Rayleigh, -3, -2, KO the Tashigi. Which is still very good, right? It's looking good for us. Carrot comes down, very strong card here, locking down our Jozu. Going to swing with the Cavendish, and yeah, we have to counter out of this. Have to counter out of that as well. Place another Killer, which we are probably going to KO with our leader ability, I would assume. And now it's a little bit hard because we can remove either the Cavendish or the Carrots, depending on like what line we are going for. And having the option, it's funny, like we just missed the Virgo Search and now we get 5 targets for the Virgo Search. So probably UFO is good here because then we can use the UFO without, and then we have another one for the next turn basically. So we can go UFO. We can just go UFO, reduce Cavendish probably, and then we just KO the Killer, right? That seems like a pretty good line for sure. And then we can play out Sanji Blocker as well, yeah. And then of course he's never going to counter out with this, right? Okay, yeah. Now it just would be really bad if he played down the Tankles Dofi. But we'll see. The thing is, like with Dofi, it's so annoying because it's going to be locking down our leader swing, and without our leader swing, the deck really doesn't do anything at all. So, but luckily he doesn't have it, as we see here. He's just going to swing with the Carrot, swing into our leader, freezing the Jozu. I take the hit, and now I can go block for free, which is nice. He plays out another Cavendish, and the Rosinante will essentially protect his Carrot. We draw another UFO. I feel like it sort of still is looking good for us. We can kind of just repeat the same line we did last turn. Where we just KO the blocker, hit over the Carrots. Now we just swing Virgo, I think, probably. I mean, there's not that much else to do, right? Like, we couldn't really putting for anything because he had 5 cards in it. And now the 10 cost comes down, which is so rough. Because we will not be able to out it with our leader ability. We do draw Rayleigh here, which actually, like, super good top deck. Because now we can actually out the 10 cost. By going Rayleigh. And then potentially, yeah, you can boost the Sanji and maybe try to run over the Cavendish, but that seems like up not to do that. Maybe that was like a little bit of a misplay. But swinging, I don't know, to be honest. Swinging 5 into 4 rested, and then our blocker will be rested. That's, yeah. He doesn't have Hody here, which is nice. That means that maybe next turn we can try to go for game. He goes for a huge swing with Cavendish. I feel like I probably should block here. Actually take it. I actually take it. He swings 8. And now we have to push for game next turn, right? Because we just lose to Hody. And he plays with another blocker, which is definitely annoying. We draw another of the... So yeah, we will be able to KO one of the killers, but then all of our attacks here have to connect, which is definitely very rough. He actually rests the blocker here, so he probably has like infinite counter in hand, right? Because if he didn't, then and now we can go, I don't know, 9, 11, 11 is a possibility, I think. And then it's like if he has he has it. If he doesn't, then we win. But just the way he played, like, he probably has a lot of counter in hands, I feel. Now we can go 10, 12. Yeah, that's definitely fair if he after the blocker. And I mean, Bonney does play a lot of bricks, right? So it's not impossible for this to be game, but this guy had infinite counter. As you saw, like, even the last 2 cards, they were like the 2k Apu. So yeah, but still, in a way, I feel like it was a pretty close game. Maybe if I played it like a little bit different, would even have been winnable. And yeah, let's go into the last one. Alright, last gameplay video for today with this deck. It's gonna be Caesar against Doflamingo, which I low-key feel like is probably still one of the best decks in OP10, but we have London Regionals coming up next weekend, right? So we will see, but I definitely expect Dofi to have a showing. Basically, we just hard mulligan again for Monet, right? And the reason I play down Monet here is because if he plays out a 6k character, it's gonna be hard for us to deal with next turn. And like the only remove we can really do is LOL, which we are fine with, right? If he goes LOL here. No. Okay, so it glitched a little bit there, but we picked up Smiley from live, played out the blocker. That was weird. And then when Monet run over the Boa and KO the Teach, so it's looking like a pretty good situation for us here. Like, we're like solid hand amount. We have access to Monet. Again, he can only, if he wants to out the Monet, it can only be low in this situation, which is like whatever. I mean, he can do that. He actually apparently doesn't stack a Navy card here, which is interesting. We pick up the blocker Sanji. And now it's just a little bit weird because we can't really do our game plan right, because he didn't really play anything. So we just get rid of one of the Peronas, play out the Monet again. Sengoku comes down, adds the Edward Weevil, and now we will finally maybe get like the use out of our Monet that we keep playing out. Like is the intention. Plays out Edward Weevil, which you probably stack with Teach. I mean, which he for sure stack with Teach probably, right? Or did you just blind hit? Nah. Nah, he didn't. Picks up another Teach. And now we will really be able to do some good stuff here. We were able to out the teach. We also established the Jozu here, which will be able to contest his board next turn as well. And he actually triggers the red rock here, which gets rid of our blocker, which is a little bit annoying. But it is what it is. We do have to be careful though, because you know Dofi can just randomly start winning by going super aggro. He swings 7. I feel like we probably have to counter this swing. We do have one more 2k and a lot of smileys in hand. And now probably we will be able to contest the boa with our leader ability, and then Jozu will be able to swing into the Moria. We will be able to out both his forecast bodies here for sure. Oh, actually this works perfectly fine as well. It's actually better because we established like a big character here. Yeah, this is way better. And we just go 7-7. And get rid of one of the Sengokus as well. Yeah, that's a better line than I said. Good job, me. So yeah, now we will be really able to pressure him. He's at 2 life. We have 2 pretty big bodies on the field. Plays out another boa. Because apparently he didn't hit anything he wanted to with the Perona. Go swing 7. Lol. Probably bounce. Actually, bounces are... Okay, I'm not really sure what the thought behind that was. Maybe so our Virgo can't swing into his Sengoku that he's gonna be swinging with. I'm not sure. Huge misplay here. Huge misplay. Because the boa can't attack. Yeah. That's not quite it. And then basically this just seals the... Honestly, I don't really feel like it would have made much of a difference. But probably if he didn't forget he played out the boa this turn, he would have played his lesson way differently. But now it's just impossible to win, right? Unless he rush Usopp, maybe. Which is actually funny, because today I was playing Sim a little bit as well. And I actually played against the Dofi that was playing rush Usopp. So that's funny. But yeah, he can't really out the Rayleigh here. Yeah. He does have like a bazillion cards in hand though, but we can just out the Moria. And then even like if he somehow counters out of our huge Rayleigh swing that's gonna come, we should be able to counter out of his Sengoku Moria attack, I think. Swing with the soldier as well. Maybe he should have just swung with the Rayleigh. I don't know. Maybe wanted to see if he wasted 2k on this. And we go 15. Which actually crazy, but he counters out of. But like I said, now he has to game me with the Sengoku into Dofi, which I don't think he can do if we have like 5k counter in hand. Okay, so he goes 7-10 here. Probably, I don't know, I probably would have gone 8-9, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, he swings 10, and then that's just gonna be the game, right? So yeah, he admitted defeat there. So yeah, that's my boy Caesar Clown, Gangster Gastino. Leave a like, comment like if you have any thoughts about this deck, because I really do think it's super fun, and like, it's not even that bad. I'm definitely gonna be building it in real life as well. If you haven't yet, subscribe, because we are doing these videos literally every week, and we still have like some pretty interesting leaders to go with. Green, yellow, law, for example. And yeah, and if you do, I'll see you in the next one.